Hey everybody, Pox700 here, and today we have the first segment of our build video for the Axial Exoterra. Now, last video was an update video where I had you guys take a vote on what you guys wanted to see, and I think I only got like 2 votes for the 22. So the EXO it was. I saw a few people made a comment that said like, I think a few people wanted to see like a street EXO or something like that. Now, I think a street EXO would also be very cool. But there are a few problems. The biggest problem is that right now it's winter and we're probably going to have a lot of snow soon, and so I'm not going to be able to do on-road stuff. The second problem is that I don't really see the point of making this thing an on-road car because on-road is fun, but only really if it's a really fast car, I feel. Unless it's like a drift car or something, on-road is only fun unless it's really fast. And the Rustler would be like 10 times faster than this thing on road because it has a lighter drivetrain. It's just better. It's just a lot. This thing is very heavy. So for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in like waterproof electronics and then make it like a snowmobile, put some paddles on. But I'll figure all that out later. But what I have now, this is a Savox servo, and I just decided to remove it from the 22 to put on this, and here's the 22 now. It's just a roller now. And so I also had a very interesting idea where I actually took the shocks off of the 22, and that's because the shocks on this thing, these Revo shocks, the problem is that they're really good shocks and all. It's just that one, the back ones just do not work flat out. They just don't work. And the second, and also, I could not find any oil that was light enough, even with 10 weight oil inside them. It's just still too heavy, and unless I want to put new pistons in them, wouldn't work. So, I got these off my 22. Now, these are racing shocks, and they're really, really good shocks. These are probably about the same quality as, like, Proline Power Strokes. In fact, they look very, very similar. But these are low-C racing, so they're very, very good. I also have 2.4 GHz receiver, Lineon motor, ESC, what is this, a capacitor, because the Savox is just a lot of power. So that's all the stuff I'm going to be using in it, and so now I'll show you what we need to do to get this thing apart. Step in this process is getting these crappy front shocks off because, we got to put the new 22 shocks on there. So we have 2 screws. These are both 2mm screws, so we're just going to undo those really quick, and then I'll be back. Alright, so as you guys can see, the shocks are on there. Now, on the EXO shocks and on the Revo shocks, they have this little, little rotating thing on the top so that they can move about when the geometry changes because of the kick-up angle. So the 22 shocks actually kind of conveniently, they come with these little rocker things on them because the 22 has that style of suspension also. So I installed those, and then it should work fine. I also adjusted the sway bars a little bit so they're a little bit less stiff, and I think I did one more. Oh yeah. Also, I put one of these dust covers on the ESC because this is just a shock bladder, guys. But I've heard a lot of stories of people getting their buttons stuck on these things, so I decided to put one of those on there. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is mount the servo, and in order to do that, it's going to be 4 screws here and then just 2 screws in there. So it's a pretty simple process. I'll be back when it's done. Alright guys, so the servo is in there as you can see. I got it in there, it works pretty well. Now unfortunately I only had 3 of the screws to use for it. So put that in. I'm not going to be putting the horn on yet because I want to make sure that the servo is centered first. So yeah. Another thing, I took the thing off of my ESC because I just did one of the stupidest things. I put too much CA and it actually seeped into the button, and so now it doesn't really move. And so I took an X-Acto knife and I kind of carved it out, and it works now. It works. You can just barely works, but so I'm gonna have to be really careful with this ESC from now on. If it starts acting up, then I may just need to buy a new one. So that was really stupid. But other than that, yeah, that's gonna go like right there, I think. So I think the next step in this process is to add the receiver, and right now this is down here, but it is a waterproof box, so we'll go through that process now. Alright guys, so one of the aspects of this vehicle that is really not too great is this receiver box here. It is just completely wacky. So I'll kind of go over what's bad about it. It has this big rubber seal here that kind of goes on, but it's very, very finicky, and you have to kind of get it on just right. So, I mean, it's theoretically waterproof, so that's good. But probably the weirdest thing about this receiver, and the thing that's kind of annoying, is that the receiver actually, for some reason, they decided it'd be better if it mounted on the top of this. So this mounts on the top, and then that goes on there, so it's really confusing. I don't know why they did it like that. But I mean, obviously the reason why they don't do it is because this area here is not flat. But I mean, maybe they should have just made that flat, and I don't know. Whatever. Nonetheless, we're gonna go and get our receiver mounted up here. We're gonna be putting in a Traxxas 2.4 gigahertz. And should be pretty easy. We're just gonna use a piece of double-sided tape. So I'll show you what. Unfortunately, I couldn't really quite find this little piece that goes in here, but I just took some double-sided tape and used it like that. And so this is kind of where the horrors start to unwind. As you can see, the receiver's kind of coming out of there, but the tape needs a little bit to set. But as you can see, I have my capacitor, speed controller, and servo all plugged into there. And the antenna comes out. There is a place to mount it. They have this little thing here, so I'm going to be using that. I know this looks really dirty, but all this dirt, like you see here, is like, it's just like impossible to get out. But anyways, I'm just going to put the clamp over here, and then I'll screw it on. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Guys, I'm back. So we got the receiver mounted up. We have the antenna. This, I just zip tied the servo cord there. Got the capacitor. Everything looks pretty good. Antenna, I haven't put the straw in yet. I'll do that next video with you guys. And then you'll see it's just laying there. We also got the shocks in today, which I think look really cool on there. These will perform very, very well, I'm sure. The servo in, and I have not mounted this up yet just because I want to make sure the servo's centered first. The steering, seems good. So I guess that'll be it for this video, guys. I guess I'll see you guys next video, maybe later today. I just wanted to keep them short for better audience retention, and plus this is a lot of work. I've been working for about an hour, even though this is probably only going to be like a 5-minute video. Alright guys, but I guess I'll see you next video, and I guess thanks for watching, comment, rate, and subscribe for more videos.